In Pursuit of Truth, this is your host, Sir Patrick Mac. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the most pursuity channel on the planet, probably. Voted most pursuity 2018 and part of 19 in a recent poll of people who take polls. We're pursuity on this channel is what I'm trying to say here. So put on your pursuity pants and let's get ready to rumble.
Final round, fight.
First thing I want to talk at you today about is actually a story that I would like to call a Q-proof. After all, you and I are indeed QAnon, correct? Yes, of course I'm correct. I'm Sir Patrick Mac. So this is a great story, and this has been taking place over the last couple weeks. But in order for you to get up to date, I got to take you back in the machine that goes back.
Got a flashback aside, take you back,
Taking you back to what I've got, the 27th of April at 8:46 a.m. We had this tweet from James, nobody's homie, Comey. And James Nobody's Homie Comey is wrapped up a little bit right now in a little bit of a crossfire with John. He's a brute.
By Brennan.
And of course, Aunt Loretta Lynch. And they're all saying he said, she said right about now. But we're talking about this tweet. And this starts off with a hashtag, 5 jobs I've had. And as you can see, this is already marked up. Good job on the Anons who put this together. I think this is really pretty compelling. But this hashtag, 5 jobs I had, the person is pointing out that it spells out jihad. Now we move on to the actual jobs that he had. Looks like he was a grocery store clerk, a vocal soloist for church weddings, a chemist, and a strike replacement high school teacher, as well as FBI director interrupted. It's nice to see you haven't lost your sense of humor. I got to be honest with you. I can actually see number 1. I can picture number 1. I can kind of picture number 2 also. I get the feeling James Comey can sing, and I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean, like, I actually think that he can sing like a choir boy. I just get the idea that he can. Anyway, so these were his jobs here, and Anons had put together that the initials capitalized in the beginning were G, V, C, S, and F, as you see on your left side of the screen. And they had postulated that maybe this led to Grass Valley Charter School Foundation. Interesting indeed. Well, due to all the scuttlebutt that was going around on the interwebs, it looked like this thing got shut down. And of course, QAnon took the hit. There were many articles about this, including Rolling Stone. This is one off of TalkingPointsMemo.com, and this is by Kate Riga on May 8th. How QAnon ruined a tiny Earth Day party by spreading rumors of a jihad. And this is basically just that tweet, put it to a different graphic. Grass Valley, California is a city nestled in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Each year it plays host to Grass Valley Charter School's Blue Marble Jubilee, an Earth Day celebration complete with egg carton painting and frolicking in bins of birdseed. I've never frolicked in a bin of birdseed, and I'm going to I'm just going to say straight away, I don't think I'm down for frolicking in a bin of birdseed. But since it's 2019, QAnon ruined all of that. No frolicking in birdseed anymore for you. Bizarrely enough, the conspiracy started when former FBI Director James Comey, living some 3,000 miles from Grass Valley, participated in the hashtag trend, 5 jobs I've had on Twitter. A Twitter user named Top Blog Sites, who has a QAnon website linked in his bio, extracted words from the tweet. So just notice that it was a Twitter user named Top Blog Sites, which probably means more than one, and had a QAnon website linked in his bio, extracted words from the tweet, somehow contorting the hashtag into 5 jihads. Wait a minute. Let's go back to this. There's no contorting to be had. You don't even have to take it out of order. There's literally no contorting going on. All right, so you see what's up. So they started to blame QAnon for all this stuff. And then it shows here our boy Joe M, who was on it. And this is the site right here, Top Blog Sites. Joe, have you seen this possible decode of Comey's latest bizarre tweet? So it looks like they picked it up here. I'm not sure what Anon made this, but this was what came out of it. Anyway, so no more frolicking in birdseed because they canceled this whole event. And like I said, everybody started to clown QAnon over this, considering us a bunch of party poopers. And of course, one of those haters was one Mike Rothschild over here on Twitter who said deranged QAnon conspiracy theorists saw nothing and harassed a local school into canceling a fundraiser. Local police told me there was no credible threat to the event, and I believe them. He was referring to another tweet from Joe M, who was posting about a little bit of our proof, which we're going to talk about in just a second. He said, remember the Grass Valley School event that was canceled because a deranged conspiracy theorist saw something and then said something? Suck it, trolls! And by the way, Mike Rothschild, he's a debunker of conspiracy theories and fringe beliefs, like QAnon. By the way, Mike Rothschild never actually uses QPost to debunk QAnon. He just talks about people that follow QAnon or people that are kind of distantly related to something that's kind of related to QAnon. And he debunks that. Yeah, that's Mike Rothschild. I wrote a book coming out in October. Surprise, surprise. No relation to the Rothschild banking family. And I believe him. Yeah, and the story that was being referred to was this one right here. I'm on the Sacramento Bee. This was updated on May 19th. Grass Valley woman arrested after officers discover pipe bombs in her closet, police say. A woman was arrested Saturday after pipe bombs were found in a Grass Valley home. Mary Dalton of Grass Valley was arrested on suspicion of possessing a destructive device and was booked into the Nevada County Jail, according to a news release issued by the Grass Valley Police Department. Around 3:30 p.m. Saturday, police got an anonymous tip regarding bombs being kept in the 400 block of Lamarck Court, according to the release. Responding officers found the pipe bombs in a closet within the home, according to the release. Explosive ordnance disposal crews were called in from the Placer County Sheriff's Office along with a bomb robot, according to the release. The pipe bombs were safely destroyed, according to the release, as of Sunday afternoon. Dalton remains in custody, and there it looks to be our pipe bombs right there. Thank goodness for the robot bomb police.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
Well, I'm sure this is all just a coincidence, right? Mike Rothschild, Mr. QAnon debunker extraordinaire, and I'm sure that it's just a coincidence here that 11228 McCourtney Road, which seems to be our fairgrounds right here, right next to the haunted pumpkin patch. That sounds way better than frolicking in birdseed, right? Anyway, looks like it's real close to this little street over here, which just happens to be Lamarck Court, where this woman was arrested. But wait, there's more. Now we got this. Man, woman found shot dead in Grass Valley. Suspect arrested. Authorities say 2 people are dead after a late Monday night shooting in Grass Valley. Grass Valley police say the incident happened just before 10 p.m. on Glenwood Road. Officers found a man and a woman with multiple gunshot wounds. Both of them were pronounced dead at the scene by medics. A suspect, identified as 35-year-old Michael Pocock, was found and arrested nearby. Investigators say Pocock and the 2 victims all lived at the property. Pocock is suspected of intentionally shooting both people multiple times, police say. A weapon was found at the scene, police say. Detectives have not commented on a possible motive for the shooting. Now, I'm afraid I'm not much of an expert in this area here, but I want to point out, if you look sort of to the center bottom of your screen where I'm hovering my mouse, it says Boston Ravine here, highlighted in blue. Right to the left of it is the fairgrounds that I just pointed out to you. And if you look real close here on the other side of the freeway, you can see that little keyhole shape here. This was Lamarck Court, where the woman was arrested with the pipe bomb. Now it looks, if you follow this highway up here, 49, where I've got it pinged in red, that seems to be where, right around the area where the arrest took place in regards to the shooting. So not too far, just wanted to give you a little perspective. All right, so there you go. Now, I'm not sure if this shooting is related to this pipe bomb story, but I find it very interesting that this is all happening within a very short short period of time and in a pretty small radius. Now, I also want to point out too that after this pipe bomb event, James Nobody's homie Comey seems to have deleted his tweet. Odd indeed. So my guess would be that the Anon group and the Truther movement, whatever you want to call it, looks like we've probably thwarted something very big, and for that I say kudos to you. I also want to point out that this shooter he stayed at home. He was the one that actually called. He shot these people, and they were living right across the way. But when they were interviewing the neighbors, I was watching some of the local news. I noticed that the neighbors weren't really surprised that it had happened to this guy. He's been arrested for harassing, DUI. I believe it was spousal abuse. And he had harassed an older neighbor in the area. And so they weren't really surprised that something had happened with this guy. But they were also suggesting that something seemed really suspect in that compound. So it would make me wonder if maybe there are some chemicals or something like that. Not really sure. That part would be all speculative at that point, but it does seem to happen within the radius there we found these pipe bombs. But either way, it looks to me like a crisis was averted. And hopefully next year we can all celebrate at next year's Blue Marble Jubilee. Yep, you can frolic in the birdseed if that's your thing. Now listen, I also would not be surprised if in the next 48 to 72 hours we start realizing that this Michael Pocock magically had a manifesto and he starts talking about QAnon and blah, 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 blah. Not saying it will happen. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if it did. After all, if you had some sort of event that was thwarted by a group that would happen to be following QAnon, might be a good idea to place a knucklehead out there, a dangerous knucklehead out there, and see if you can conflate the stories. Not saying, just saying. Now, in other news, as you know, bacony, cheesy bites are coming out as we are speaking. We can thank Representative Teach Me How to Dougie Collins for that. We've got testimony now from Tashina Gohar. We've got Loretta Lynch. We've got a few others. I don't have it in front of me right now. And I am going to be doing some threads on that. I'm putting it together right now. But I want to point something out that John Solomon said the other day on Hannity in regards to the bacony, cheesy goodness. Listen up.
It was being peddled by everybody in the Clinton world that there were these computer pings going on between a Trump Tower server and an Alpha Bank server in Moscow, as a Russian bank. And the theory that the Clintons were peddling, including Christopher Steele at the State Department, then sent to the FBI, was this was a secret communication channel, some beacon where Donald Trump would know it was time to call Vladimir Putin and figure out how they were going to concoct hijacking the election.
Ooh, like the bat phone. Except you have to dial 2 for English because it's Russia. And the bat phone actually existed. This one did not.
The election. The FBI knocked this down in October. So they told me on October 17th, as well as other U.S. officials, it had been ruled out as credible intelligence. And yet 4 days later, they go, knowing that Christopher Steele was peddling it, they go to the FISA court and they represent that Christopher Steele is credible, his information is accurate. They have no derogatory information about that. This revelation tonight calls into question all of those representations before the court.
How big a problem is all of this conflict pretty much between every member of the deep state involved?
Well, first, the president's going to add to the problems of the deep state when he declassifies these first documents in the next several days. I think the most important thing that has changed in the last few months. Yeah, it is a big detail.
So we have similar sources, I'm getting.
Yes, absolutely. I have confirmed that sometime in the next 7 to 8 days, the president will declassify the first of many documents. This first one we used to call Bucket 5, the exculpatory statements that the FBI possessed about its targets before it went to the FISA court. But let me tell you about one important dynamic that's changed. Today at the Hill, we had a new poll out. For the first time, a majority of Americans support investigating the FBI's conduct and the start of the Russia investigation. That is a sea change in public sentiment, and I think it's a sign that the American public is on to the scam that was going on here.
And it's also a sign of the great investigative work you, Sarah, Greg, the DeGenevas.
In pursuit of truth.
Everybody. I'll miss 100 names.
All right. Well, there you go. Looks like bacony, cheesy goodness incoming by way of FISA declass. And I want to point out, especially for those of you who've been following QAnon for a while, this is no longer coming from QAnon. This is coming from the POTUS himself. This is coming from conservative media mostly. I would say liberal media is not really wanting to touch this. they are still on the impeach Trump wagon, and for obvious reasons, because they know that once this comes out, this is going to show not only treason, it's going to show bacony, treasony goodness. So strap yourself in and let's get ready for the ride. If that's all I got for you for today, as always, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Thanks to all of you who do that already. I greatly appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, welcome to you. Please keep in mind that from time to time, you're going to get unclicked and unsubscribed and unnotified. That's just what happens when you're trying to find truth these days. I find that if you search IPOT in your search, it's a little bit easier to find my stuff. But do me a favor, just keep clicking, rechecking yourself, resubscribing yourself, re-notifying yourself. Do whatever you got to do. Thank you very much. All my links are down below. My Gab, my BitChute, my Real.video, which is now Brighteon.com, and I'm mostly over here at Twitter at IPOT1776. That's at IPOT1776. So if you're on Twitter, would you please join me over here? I'll likely be doing little threads and stuff in regards to these testimonies that have just come out. So give me a join over here at IPOT1776. If you want to share information with me, please email me. Please don't DM me on Twitter. My email is down below. My P.O. box is down below if you'd like to send something old school. Thanks to all of you who've been sending me the great little gifts. I greatly appreciate it. It's always fun to check. And if you'd like to support the channel, my Patreon link is down below. All those links are down below as well. The link has the links to the stories we covered today. It's all down below. All right, Patriots, this is Sir Patrick Mack. And until next time, stay funky.